Hello and welcome to the Smarter Online Safety Show. I'm your host, Jocelyn King, the Queen of Online Safety. Hello and welcome to the Smarter Online Safety Show. This is the special edition. I'm your host, Jocelyn King, the Queen of Online Safety. And the FBI just released their latest report on cybercrime and what every American needs to know to protect themselves. And I want to pull the 10 biggest tips and issues out of that report for you. I've just had the full briefing, and this is what you need to know. This is the Internet Crime Report for 2026, and new data shows, number one, Americans lost 21 billion with a B, to cybercrime in 1 year. This is an all-time high. It's up 26% from last year. And for the first time ever, more than 1 million complaints were filed. Now, again, that's not even the full amount. The FBI director themselves thinks that that's 10 to 15% of the total. So we're looking at more like 10 to 15 million people reached. But for the first time ever, it's gone seven figures. It's topped the 1 million marks of complaints of people filing cybercrime incidences with the FBI. So this is no longer a niche problem. It's now one of the largest financial crime categories in the whole country. Number two, cryptocurrency scams became one of the greatest financial threats because this has caused billions of dollars in losses. Investment scams tied to crypto are the number one thing. These are people who are scamming you through Facebook ads, and they are using AI generated content that looks like it's a Shark Tank shark, or somebody you really admire who's wealthy and financially has made a lot of money, or anybody that you're following. They can put these ads into your feed that you would swear are the person you admire, and they're not. And what they're doing is using them to gain your trust, to tell you about a great investment you should be making to earn money, and that they're making the money on that and they don't want to keep it to themselves and want to share it with you. And they're tied to crypto. And these are causing the largest losses. And they're all in fake investment platforms, and the victims often believe they were making real profits. I've talked about this a bit on our show a couple of times with guests, and I just want to reinforce it or tell you if it's for the first time you're hearing it. You often believe you're making real profit because you put a little bit of money in. You're like, oh, I'm not going to trust this. I'm going to just put $1,000 in, or 100, or 10,000, whatever is a small or safe amount for you to test. You make money on it and it's sitting there in the account. They'll give you like 10 to 15% return back within like 2 weeks. It's amazing. It seems too good to be true, but there's the money. They even tell you, oh, you could take this out. But, one thing I want to let you know about, there's this second deal, or it's kind of like somebody telling you when you've bought some stock and it's gone up, but it's about to go up again. So instead of exiting, you stay in. In poker, they call that being pot committed. You won't walk away. And so people ride they leave their money on the table and hit ride, and then they get taken for a ride. So you could have taken your money out, you leave it in, you make some more money, and eventually you're putting in a great deal, and that's when they take it. And it's all overseas. And if you think that the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, the CIA, or anybody else can get your money back for you, you are mistaken. They cannot. It is offshore. And unless there's something making it an onshore crime, they can't even investigate it. And if it is an onshore crime, the odds of getting it back are so small, and only if you do it immediately. So you're basically throwing your money away. So you have to not fall for these things. It's super important. You have to really investigate. Millions of people are getting taken in by this. Don't be one of them. Number three, AI-powered scams officially entered the FBI for the first time in their report. This is a major shift. The FBI has formally tracked AI voice cloning, deepfake impersonations, AI generated phishing, which is where they're sending you emails and text messages that look like they're from real sources. And the reason they are so hard to catch is because the AI is generating them to make them look identical to the real companies and real people and use the exact same language they use. The logo is right. And these are creating AI assisted phishing and AI assisted romance and investment scams. Over 22,000 AI related complaints were reported. That's just the one they could specifically say were AI. That doesn't mean the others didn't also have a component of AI. So, the public service announcement here is for you to realize that we're entering an era where seeing and hearing is no longer believing. You cannot trust your eyes and ears to catch a scam. It means you have to verify everything. So you have to keep your wits about you, right? Which is a theme on this show. Number four, older adults and seniors, they still lost the most money. This has been the case. And unfortunately, the actual data shows that people in their 20s and 30s are have the highest percentage of breaches in the population, but they have less assets and money to get stolen. And it's the seniors and retirees from 60 and above who are losing the most. The average is $80,000. So they are losing the most money. And that's not only hurting them, it's hurting their whole families because this is the money that they are living on in their retirement. And now families are scrambling to figure out how do they pay for the care or the home or the dementia and Alzheimer's caregivers. If it's a two income family with parents or domestic partners or whatever, they're like, does one of us have to quit our job? Families are going into tailspins. People are pulling money out of their own retirements to help take care of their aging parents. And these are people who are only 10 to 25 years away from retirement themselves. So it's affecting their future and that'll affect their children. Some are pulling money from their kids' college funds as an emergency fund. This is having devastating consequences, right? Like a house of cards. So it's really, really important that you're not only protecting yourself, but you're looking at all your family members and colleagues and everyone around you that could be impacted because it has devastating consequences. And cyber criminals target, they use trust, loneliness, fear, and urgency. It's not about how smart you are. They do not, logic will not save you from the emotional, strings that they're going to pull. And so you have to really not only take care of yourself, but make sure that everybody around you knows what they need to be protecting themselves from as well. Okay. Number five, investment fraud is now the number one money loss category. Investment scams just skyrocketed, and they're even bigger than ransomware or hacking now. So this is a first. The losses exceeded 8.6 billion with a B, and just $8.6 billion for the first time ever. Many scams start on social media. They then move to encrypted messaging apps, like it'd be on WhatsApp or any number of things. And they're building emotional trust before stealing your money. Kind of like the example I gave where you put some money in and they give you actual money back. And you're thinking, oh, well, they're not stealing my money. This must be real. Those are proven techniques. First of all, they've been working for hundreds and thousands of years. Now they're just digital, but what's scary about now is because they can use software programs that they write and AI to do this at scale, which means they can be, the scammers and hackers can be out to a nice meal on the money they made from the last person they stole from, while thousands of bots are running coming after you and everyone you care about. So pay attention to that. It no longer is somebody taking an exorbitant amount of time targeting you. It's these things are happening while they're sleeping and they're happening in your sleep. So you've got to be alert. Don't stand in the middle of the street. There is an oncoming cyber truck coming to mow you down. So get up to safety by being aware that these things are daily occurrences. Every few seconds, every 37 seconds, someone becomes a cybercrime victim, and it is coming to your phone and your email. So expect it, watch for it, and you want to follow the safety tips we share on here so you can catch it, and then you'll stay so much safer than you are right now. Business email compromise. What is that? That's the phishing that goes into companies. It's still devastating. It's one of the biggest impacts to the United States and to the world. But the FBI's report is just about the US, of course. Roughly 3 billion plus in how many dollars have been taken and how much it's cost the American society and its people. Because remember, when this money is stolen or when it costs a company that much to fix it, if you're an executive at a company or somebody who works there, you're impacted. But we're all impacted because you work for that company, and those losses don't just vanish, they get turned into higher rates, higher fees, higher prices, or the prices stayed the same and the services come down. So we're all affected by this. We're all victims of these crimes because of the impact they're having to the companies we do business with, the companies we buy from, and the companies we work at or are actually owners of. So you really have to take this to heart and know that one fake email can reroute life savings or payroll funds in minutes. People have been wiped out. We've had guests on who have been wiped out and guests on who have just barely been saved, by an act of luck. So we don't want you to be one of them. Okay. And then government impersonation scams nearly doubled this last year. Okay. This is scammers pretending to be FBI agents. They're pretending to be IRS representatives, Social Security officials, law enforcement, TSA. Losses reached $800 million. So the thing to know here is that real government agencies do not demand payment through gift cards, crypto, or urgent secrecy ever. The few people who are actually contacted by the IRS, for example, are really in arrears. There's already correspondence going on. So if you don't fall into that category of having an issue going on, you will be contacted through letters. You will be contacted through official means. And if you need to schedule time to go in, you will do that. You're not going to suddenly be told by the IRS that you have to pay this within 24 hours or you're getting arrested. DMV scams are up. There's just every government agency. The U.S. Postal Service impersonation is out there. Let alone the commercial things that we've talked about on here with people, scammers pretending to be from Amazon and telling you that a package you just ordered something from Amazon and you are expecting it, or it could be from FedEx or DHL, from any carrier. The information that you've been on their website and did a transaction is a lot easier for them to scrape than anybody thinks. And so they know that there's a legitimate shipment coming. They use that to then put a fake email together saying that your goods or services or whatever you're expecting are held up and you have to click here. And by clicking here, you're downloading malware, or they're getting you to get on a phone or fill out a form so they can get a credit card or account numbers. It's a no zone you do not want to go to, because this includes email hijacking, banking login theft, social media takeovers, stolen passwords, and session cookies. What that means is if you go to your bank or your E-Trade account or retirement account and you log in and you don't log out, you leave something open and you go to another site, hackers can get that information and come in and impersonate you and take over where you left off. They may as well be coming in and sitting down at your computer and picking up where you left off because you didn't log out. So you want to log out. A lot of banks and everything will auto log you out after a certain amount of time. You might find it annoying thinking, wait, it says it's going to log me out in 1 minute. They're doing that to protect you and your money and to protect the bank. So just know that that's a protection feature. The ones that aren't logging you out fast enough could cause, you know, could be creating a loophole for the bad guys to get in. Additionally, you could be typing your password in on a site that has is not even really protected. So you're actually giving your login credentials to a bad guy. So just make sure you're going to known good sites and you're keeping your software up to date on your computer, and that you have some security settings set higher so that you're not giving them an easy back door that's wide open into your finances. Number nine, ransomware attacks have sharply increased, especially for critical infrastructure, right? We've been hearing about that. Hospitals, schools, utilities, and local governments, they continue to be major targets. And the FBI in this report reported thousands of ransomware complaints. Losses surged dramatically year over year in all of these. So cyber attacks are no longer just stealing data, they're disrupting our real world safety and services. And so things could happen. We've seen this before. The ones that we've seen in the last couple of years, and I've even been on like national TV shows along with, other cybersecurity experts where we're talking about what's happening. There's many ways where we've lucked out that it's actually been friendly fire, we would call it, like the CrowdStrike event that happened, 2 years ago that had to do with Microsoft's own rollout of software, but it shut down all the travel in airports, it shut down banks, it had all these repercussions. That was friendly fire. That was from CrowdStrike software update going wrong. That wasn't even from a nation state actor trying to attack us. So these things are going to be coming. They're going to become more normal, and we need to be prepared for them and what we will do. So you need to be paying attention. And then number 10 that they really reported in the FBI report was that most victims still don't report cybercrime. The FBI itself and analysts believe the real losses, like I said, are 10 to 15 times what's actually getting reported because people don't want to report because they're feeling embarrassment or shame, or they're confused, or they're not even sure who to call. They may not realize they were scammed. They may not realize, oh, this is cyber crime or a scam. They may think that something bad just happened to them, and they may believe that nothing can be done. At the very least, you're reporting it as helping protect other people because they can shut things down. So you can do it as a service to others. The other is they can inform you of what the scam is so that you can, and then you can ask, what do I need to do to protect myself? Is there anything I can do to recover? Time is your friend or your enemy here. The faster you ask for help, the more help you can get. So you want to be doing that. I've shared here and I share in my book and when I give talks and workshops. I got into cybersecurity a decade ago because I was targeted by cyber criminals. And I lost $500,000. My 20-year marriage imploded. It was a 2-year ordeal. If you see pictures of me then, I look 20 years older than I do now. It decimated me. My health took a beating. I was so ashamed that it happened to me. I thought, oh, you know, that was that was a stupid mistake. Being targeted and victimized is not a stupid mistake. It means you're a victim. But believe me, I understand when you're going through it. It's embarrassing and shaming. You've been victimized and you just want to be protected and you don't want other people to know. When I share my story on stage, and even since I've been sharing it, even on this channel, the overwhelming number of people who reach out and tell me their story and say, I've never told anybody this before, but this is what happened to me. And it's almost, a therapeutic release to finally be able to talk about it. And that's how I felt. And part of my health decline and my mental, agitation and my inability to sleep for months, I wasn't sleeping well. I had health problems. It was just the sheer stress. And not only because of what was happening to me, but because I was keeping it all bottled up. I didn't want people to know. I was afraid that if they knew, even at work, that they would think less of me, as as a manager that I was, or that they would think, that I'm not all that smart after all. And everyone goes through this, so that's normal. So if something is happening to you, reach out. It just means you're being targeted by crime, by criminals who have these incredibly powerful tools at their disposal and no empathy or mercy. And you're just getting caught up. It's like getting hurt in the cogs of a giant machine. And there should be no more shame about it than that. You shouldn't be blaming yourself. How did I get in that machine rolled over you? You didn't stick your hand in it. And even if you did stick your hand in it, the machine is, tearing your arms to bits. So get help. you wouldn't stand there and bleed to death. You would go to the emergency room. So think of the FBI and law enforcement as an emergency wound for a cyber wound, the same way you would in the physical world if you physically got hurt or cut your hand or got burned. You would get medical care. At least I hope you would get medical care. So do the same thing. Think of cyber that way. Because cybercrime, it's no longer about a hacker in a hoodie. What I do on the show is try to help you understand. I like to say we take the hoodie off the hacker so you can understand how they work, so you can protect yourself. Because, an unseen, unknown enemy, you can't really protect yourself from. But if you understand how they work and what they're doing, you can see it, you can spot it, you can protect yourself before you click or before you do something. But cybercrime, it's organized. It's organized crime and it's AI powered and it is psychological manipulation and it's targeting you. It's targeting everyday people, everyday families, everyday businesses, seniors, children, newborn infants having their social security numbers stolen and bad credit reports before they turn 30 days old. These things are true, but it doesn't have to happen if you take the steps to protect yourself and your business and your babies and your colleagues and your family and your friend and your home. You know what you need to do to protect yourself in the physical world. You know not to, you know, step into the street with oncoming traffic. You know not to get in a car with a stranger. You know not to walk down a dark alley late at night in a strange town. You just need to learn the same things. The internet is new. Social media is new. So the scams that are coming out and stuff, we've had hundreds and thousands of years of learning how to stay secure in the world. We've only had 15, 20 years of getting exposed to the whole online world. And it hasn't been that long that we've had smartphones. So we're all novices. We're all new at this. There's no shame in that. And congratulations to you because you're already here listening to this and taking steps. I named my company Smarter Online Safety because you're already smart. You're smart enough to know you want to know how to protect yourself and you want to know what you need to do to prevent things from happening or how to recover if they do. And that's why you're here. So take these tips to heart. Please share this with anybody that needs to be protected so that they don't become another statistic in next year's FBI cybercrime report. So that's the state of things. The good news is you can protect yourself. A lot of these things are automated, but if you put the right cyber protections in place, you can protect yourself. And I'm sharing that list of the essentials with you and the foundations so that you can stay safer. You can get out of the street so that you don't get hit by oncoming traffic. You can get your hand away from the hot stove so it doesn't get burned. You can prevent it from getting cut and bleeding in the first place. And know that if something does happen, you also know how to protect yourself and what steps to take to get the help that you need. So I hope this has been helpful and insightful. Please help me share it with people who need to hear it. I want to help as many people as possible stay safe out there. So until next time, you stay safe out there.